Once the visitation hours finished, we left the hospital. When we gathered at our family home, we began to discuss what we'll be doing from now on. Managing Dad's hospital fees will be tough for Mom to handle on her own, so I'll go to the hospital to pay in her place. It's okay for me to take Dad's checkbook and cards, right? But my mom shook her head. No way! Huh? Why, Mom? Kevin will be going to save you that trouble. I'm against using our savings on your dad's hospital fees. My name is Kevin. I'm a 32-year-old businessman. I've been married to my wife Jane for 5 years. We have a 3-year-old daughter named Rebecca and live a very happy family life. My wife is a very kind person and our daughter is quickly growing up to be a good girl. I want to support my family so that we can continue making fun memories together forever, but there is one person who causes problems for us. That's my mom. My mom has never been a big fan of Jane. Even when they first met, my mom didn't like her, and now that we're married, those feelings have just gotten stronger. Whenever anything happens, I jump in to protect Jane, so we've been okay so far, but a big problem began after we built our home. Last year, after having saved up money for years, my wife and I finally built ourselves a home. We had been living in a cheap apartment that was far from both of our jobs, and when Jane gave birth, the apartment became too small for us. In an effort to make sure our new home will be near Jane's work, the house ended up also being near my parents' house. That's why the problems began after the house was built. My mom began coming over more often. You're here again? Why do you have to talk like that? I've only come 3 times this week. I didn't come yesterday, right? That's true, but last week and the week before you came every day, right? What? You really are a horrible wife if you hate me coming over that much. Having you over every day is a bit tough, since I have to prepare dinner for an extra person. My mom would always come at 4:30 p.m. after Jane brings Rebecca home from preschool. Jane has shorter work days so that she can take care of Rebecca more, but since my mom keeps coming over, she's thinking of switching back to working full-time. Every time I come here, the house is a mess. That's why a wife should stay at home. When are you going to quit your job? My mom had an old-fashioned mindset that women shouldn't work once they get married, so she'd always tell Jane that she should quit her job. I like my job, so I'm not going to quit. If I continue working, we can save money for Rebecca to go to university. My mom just laughed. How much do you think you can save with your little salary? We have hundreds of thousands in savings, so there's no need to worry about the future. I'm not sure how long you'll last as Kevin's wife, but I'm not expecting it'll be very long. What do you mean? I don't think it's that serious. If you keep being this useless of a wife, one day Kevin will throw you away and take Rebecca with him. My mom would threaten my wife like this every time. When she first began saying this, Jane genuinely got worried. She worried so much that at some point I had to give my mom a talking to. A wife doesn't have to do all the chores on her own. There's no way that'll become a reason for us to become divorced, I told my mom. And anyway, I love Jane, so I'm the one who should be worried that I'll be thrown away. When I said that, Jane lit up. She understood that those were my genuine feelings, so she decided to ignore my mom and trust me. Oh, did you get scared? You probably got scared. You'll never get to use those hundreds of thousands of dollars I mentioned. I'm not evil. If you become a good wife, I will make sure that you inherit that money, so be quiet and follow my orders. My mom used her inheritance to force Jane to follow her orders. Basically, she was trying to buy her loyalty. Ever since I was young, my mom has been telling my sister and I that she's been saving up money for us. Anytime she scolded us, she would threaten us with that money. We never lived luxuriously, so we trusted that our parents were saving up a lot of money. But since my wife was working and I had a good salary, we had a solid savings of our own. We even had enough money to build a home, so with or without that inheritance, we were fine. That's why those threats didn't work on us. Your mom came again today. Really? She just won't learn. I'm always telling her to stop. I'll try talking to her again. Hearing what Jane said, I warned my mom to stop coming as often, but my mom just assumed that Jane had brainwashed me, so she ignored everything I told her. You fooled Kevin again and made it seem like I'm the bad guy. You're a horrible wife. Did your parents really raise you like this? Which reminds me, your parents passed away, right? I wanted to meet them, but I guess I can't since they're dead. My mom desperately wanted to make Jane angry. Talking about her late parents that way obviously made her upset. Jane tried really hard to not get too emotional. You're being mean. How can you say that with a smile on your face? Oh, well, it's too late, isn't it? They passed away when you were in high school, so now there's nothing we can do but laugh. I didn't understand her. Who would ever laugh at their parents having passed away? I'm not even sure a comedian would do that. Your parents have also passed away. Do you laugh about that too? What are you saying? You're so rude. How dare you laugh at my parents' death? It just made no sense. Was she serious? Was she being annoying on purpose? Dealing with my mom was a huge pain. I felt really bad for Jane every time she would tell me that my mom had come over. One day, something I could never imagined happened. My dad collapsed and had to go to the hospital. It was a stroke. Jane and I rushed to the hospital where my mom and sister were already waiting. My dad was laying on a hospital bed, looking at us apologetically. Dad, are you okay? I'm sorry for making you all worry. Since everyone is all here, I want to talk to you guys about something. Is that all right? Everyone nodded. The truth is, they discovered I had cancer. I only have 1 year left to live. No way. We were all shocked. How could my dad suddenly have cancer? I'll have to live in the hospital from now on, so I wanted us to discuss how we would cover the hospital fees. My sister and I quickly responded, I will give you money every month. Me too. But our dad turned us down. You both have small kids, so I'd feel bad. I wanted to discuss with you if you would be okay for me to use the money we had saved up to give to you guys. Is it okay for me to use it for my treatment? Of course, we were making enough money now, so we're not relying on that savings. Our dad always did his best for us, so I wanted him to use that money on himself. I'm really sorry. Thank you. Watching my dad, my sister, and I all talk, Jane was on the verge of tears. She felt how close we were. Since Jane had already experienced her parents passing away when she was in high school, she didn't want us to suffer the same way. I glanced at my mom, and she was silent with a sad look on her face. She didn't bully Jane as she usually would. Her precious husband being so sick really did shock her. Once the visitation hours finished, we left the hospital. When we gathered at our family home, we began to discuss what we'll be doing from now on. Managing Dad's hospital fees will be tough for Mom to handle on her own, so I'll go to the hospital to pay in her place. It's okay for me to take Dad's checkbook and cards, right? But my mom shook her head. No way! Huh? Why, Mom? Kevin will be going to save you that trouble. I'm against using our savings on your dad's hospital fees. We were all shocked. What do you mean, Mom? Why are you against it? That money was meant for you. We spent so many years collecting that money. I don't want it to be wasted like this. It's not being wasted, though. The doctors told him he'll be dying soon. There's no need to spend money on treating him. What are you saying? How could you be so mean? Yeah, with treatment and surgery, he might be able to live longer than expected. We can't just give up. My sister and I tried to convince our mom, but she was stubbornly against it. You both have kids. You need money. We're telling you it's no problem. You don't know what will happen. I felt like we were getting nowhere, and I was growing impatient. Just give us the money. We will use it for Dad's treatment. I agree. Mom, give it to us. Our mom suddenly began panicking. I can't. Mom, please stop already. I will take the passbook myself if I need to. I stood up. My sister joined me, and we began to look for the savings account passbook. Our mom then said something ridiculous. I've used it. All of it. We couldn't believe our ears. Did she just say she used the entire savings? What do you mean? Didn't you say there were hundreds of thousands of dollars? That was a lie. He had only saved $75,000. Okay, but what do you mean you used it all? Well, some things happened. What do you mean, some things? Well, Mom, tell us. It doesn't matter, does it? Then I guess we have no choice but to tell our dad what's going on, huh? What? Wait, are you going to tell him? Well, you won't tell us, so we have no choice. Upset, our mom began to tell us the truth. Actually, for the past few years, I've become really attached to this escort. Are you serious? I wanted to make Jack the top escort at his club. What's wrong with finding a new hobby? We were stunned by what our mom had used the money on. What? It's my money too, so it's fine, right? Anyway, your dad is on the verge of death, so there's no point in using the money on him. No one was on my mom's side now. I've lost all hope in you. Whatever. We'll tell Dad everything and decide what to do from there. Are you serious? Of course. We don't want to deal with you anymore. We began gathering our stuff, and our mom said something shocking. This is all Jane's fault. Jane is the one who first brought me to the club that Jack works at. What was she even saying? So it's not my fault, it's Jane's fault. What she was saying was unbelievable. Jane lost her patience. Leave me alone. I work late every night. There's no way I had time to be taking you to clubs. I don't even know your phone number. How could I take you anywhere? Stop saying random things to try to run away. I can sue you for defamation. When Jane brought up suing my mom clammed up. My sister and I knew very well that our mom was lying. Come on, Jane, let's go. We left my parents' house behind. As we left, my mom collapsed to her knees. My dad was terribly shocked by the fact that my mom had used his whole savings, and he immediately divorced her. He claimed compensation for the money she had used without his permission. He sold their house and used that money for his treatment. Doing so, he completely kicked my mom to the curb. Of course, my sister and I cut off our ties with our mom, so our mom lost both her home and her family. My mom has never worked and had no savings, so she's currently working part-time in order to afford the cheap apartment she started renting. She hasn't stopped visiting that escort she liked, so she's gone into debt in order to pay for her visits to him. Well, she's getting what she deserves. She has nothing to do with us, so I don't care about her anymore. We go to visit my dad at the hospital every day to spend as much of his final moments in this world together. My dad has been getting stronger every day and was even able to get discharged from the hospital. He moved in with Jane, Rebecca, and I, and the four of us live a fun life together. My dad hasn't been cured completely, but at the very least, he's living happily every day.